Hello and welcome to Throttle Up. Not much has already been said about the Innova Crysta since it has been almost 2 years since the facelift of the Crysta was launched, but that is the exact reason why I'm covering this today. Because no matter how many videos come out or how many praises you shower upon it, nothing will ever justify the timelessness of this iconic car and the popularity that it has gained over the course of 20 odd years. So now, before I go on showering more praises about this car, let's talk about the Innova Crysta and its variants. It is available in 5 variants, which are G, G+, GX, VX and ZX. Now, since Toyota has reserved G and G Plus variants for the government officials only, the 3 variants which the retail customers buy are GX, VX and ZX. So that makes GX the base variant of the Toyota Innova Crysta lineup. The one we have today is the GX variant, which technically lies dead in the center of the lineup of the Innova Crystas. And GX is the only variant which gets all the engine options and the transmission options which are available for this car. It gets a 2.7 petrol engine, a 2.4 diesel, and both of them are available in a manual and an automatic transmission. You can also choose between a 7-seat configuration or an 8-seat configuration depending on your needs, because all the variants of the Innova Crysta do get the option for you to go for either a 7 or an 8-seat configuration. As for the numbers and the engine specs of the mighty engines which Toyota Innova Crysta offers, the 2.4 diesel manual produces a maximum power of 150 PS with the maximum torque of 343 Newton meters, whereas the 2.4 diesel automatic produces the same power, which is 150 PS, but has a better maximum torque figure, which is 360 Newton meters. As for the 2.7 petrol, the manual and automatic transmissions both produce a maximum power of 166 PS and a maximum torque of 245 Newton meters. So there's a lot of difference between the torque output between the diesel and the petrol option. Coming to the front fascia of the car, the Crysta gets a completely redesigned grille with the facelift, and it has a trapezoidal design. This is the silver garnish which runs at the bottom like a bracket of sorts, and there's this black clip on the top itself with these black strips, and it's open for ventilation, it's not closed as such. As for the headlamps, this variant gets a complete halogen setup with 3 elements inside the main unit and the turn indicator below the headlamp. Now this is how it looks like when it's lit up. That's for the main headlamp, that's the parking light as a third lamp, and that the center is for your high beam. The turn indicator is housed below the headlamp. There's no fog lamp offered on this GX variant of the Crysta. Now it comes with, again, spaces for the fog lamps, but there is no fog lamps there. But I like that inverted bracket design just opposite to what they have done to the grille. It also gets a body colored skid plate which complements the overall design. Now, needless to say that this is a really long car. It has a length of around 4735 mm and a wheelbase of 2750 mm, which is class leading. And obviously, this is an Innova at the end of the day, and it's legit a drawing room inside. Now it gets a ground clearance of 178 mm. The design, however, looks pretty much the same as what we have been seeing over the past many years in the Innova Crysta, so nothing polarizing as such. Now, as for the ORVM, do not get any chrome which you get in the upper variants, but this is how it looks like when it's lit up. Body color door handles, so there's no chrome on those door handles. Now, as for the wheel, these are 205/65 R16 profile tires, and I love the design on that alloy. They are very different to what you would actually expect from a Innova Crysta, so that's really nice. Although you get a 17-inch alloy in the topmost ZX variant. Apart from that, all the variants get the same alloy wheel, and they look nice in my opinion, and adequately sized tires provided the profile or the dimensions of this car. As for the rear profile, a very similar looking Innova Crysta rear profile. The facelift has not made things very different. This is a proper halogen unit. There is absolutely no LED on this tail lamp. That's the brake lamp on the inside. That's the reverse light, and that's the turn indicator. And the main tail lamp is lit up, as you can see. So you get the Toyota badging, Innova Crysta badging on the left, and a 2.4 G, which basically tells you that this is the 2.4 diesel and a G variant, GX. They have not mentioned the X in the GX. Now that's for the number plate. You do not get a rear parking camera, which is a big miss. You get a rear wiper and a rear defogger, and there are two reflectors at the bottom of that bumper. Now opening the boot of the car, the boot space is obviously small since this is a three-row car. It still is a 300 liters, which is kind of unimaginable given that there is no space at all. It has a halogen lamp to provide illumination. There's this mesh light design, which I don't know the function of. Now this is the space to store your middle headrest for the third row in case you tumble down your seats. Now as for the third row, it can obviously be put down by pulling this rope of sorts, and a lot of boot space can be created when you actually put up that third row. The third row can obviously be picked up and then hooked to the sides of that car. So it's a bit of a hassle because there is no electric adjustability or anything electric to put down or put up or like pick up those seats. So that is still a hassle. Even the middle headrest button is very tight. I'm not able to operate it for some reason. Now give me 1 second. No, I'm still not able to. I don't know what happened. But yes, all the three headrests on the third row are adjustable. I am not able to press this button. It's so damn tight. But nonetheless, as you can see, this is a adjustable headrest. Now that was for the third row. It's obviously a 50-50 split. And there is no power tailgate on option in the Innova Crysta GX variant. I don't even think that it gets a power tailgate for the top variant as well. So you have to make do with a manually operable tailgate. Now let's move to the second row of the car. Opening the doors, it's a mix of leather and plastic. That's hard plastic. This is leather. That's plastic, but it feels nice to touch and look at. Now there's a door lamp as well on the bottom, and there's good space to keep your stuff on the doors itself. As for the seats, they are finished in black and grey fabric, so there's no usage of leather upholstery, but they still look good and the texture is really nice. Even the cushioning is great. Now let's talk about the legroom. There is absolutely no dearth of legroom because guess what? This is an Innova Crysta. You can obviously adjust the seats as well, just like you can adjust the driver and the co-driver seat. So you can obviously adjust according to the space you need in the second row and the third row. So there's absolutely no shortage of legroom whatsoever. There are three headrests in the second row and they are adjustable. There's very good headroom. The armrest is small and narrow, but it does get the cup holders which you can pop out and put inside that armrest. As for the seat, the cushioning is really nice. The thigh support is amazing, but it is still a fabric upholstery, so they have not provided a leather upholstery in this variant. It gets a USB socket to charge, and these are the AC vents which do not look good at all. This is almost a 20 lakh rupees ex showroom car, and what is this plastic treatment? It looks so basic. It is just like what we had in the 15-year-old Innova, and they have not changed it a bit. The cabin lamp is right there for the second row as well, which is a halogen. There are grab handles which also have a coat hanger as well. There's no shortage of the window real estate in this car, so it looks very airy. This is a hook to hook your stuff, and you do get the magazine holders as well, but you do not get a table in this variant, just like you do in the VX and the ZX. This is how you can tumble down your seat to get access to the third row, and it's not very easy since it actually never is, but it's not too difficult either, and the egress is still manageable. The third row is where it gets a lot tight if you push the second row to the very back, but you can obviously adjust it. Even then, I'll still say that it's best for kids and the adults should be seated on the first two rows. The third row is not for a good average sized adult. Now, as for the headrests, they obviously get adjustable headrests as I previously mentioned. There's also some space to keep your stuff on the left and the right. You also do get the AC vents for the third row as well. But it's still cramped for a person like me who is 5 feet 9 inches. I have said it once, I'll say it again. It's adequate for kids only. You can be seated as an adult, but you would be cramped and you would be more comfortable being seated in the second row. So now I've come out of that third row and let's move to the cockpit of the car. Now opening the door, you do not get any request sensor, which is a bit of a disappointment since this is a 20 lakhs ex-showroom car. But nonetheless, these are the door pads, very curvy. All four power windows obviously, but only the driver side is auto up and down. That's for door lock and lock, window lock and lock, and electrical adjustment for the ORVMs. They also get the auto foldable function as well. There's a door lamp, and the door finish is part leather and part plastic. Manual adjustability for the driver's side, so no electrical adjustment whatsoever for height and backrest. Three pedals since this is a manual, and there's no dead pedal dedicated, but there's some space to keep your foot. Very ordinary looking levers for your fuel lid and bonnet opener, and those are the three buttons for your parking sensors, headlight leveler, and rear washer. That's a cubby hole which is finished in a rather different looking pocket. Now you do not get an engine start stop button, but the keyhole is finished in this white light, which reminds me of the Maruti personally. A lot of plastics are borrowed from the Maruti itself. Now this is the key fob. It is a very nice looking key fob with lock and unlock button, the Toyota badging on the other side. It also gets this pop out feature just like you get in Volkswagens and the Skodas of the world. Now let's put that key in that keyhole. I'm not personally a fan of that white light that they have done. It feels aftermarket and not what you expect in a 20 lakh rupees ex-showroom car. Now first we'll talk about the instrument cluster and the steering which greets you. Now for the instrument cluster, the left side is for your tachometer and the right is for your speedometer. Very basic. Even the text in those dials is not 3D, so it does not look very appealing as such. It's very simple to look at, and it has a white illumination. Now don't mistake the center part of the instrument cluster as an MID just yet, because basically those are the warning lights which are housed inside those two white lines, and a very small MID in that. It's very small. Now this steering is finished in plastic, so there is no leather wrap. The right display DISP display button is to control your very small MID, which basically shows you the trip information, average fuel economy, range, odometer, and very simple information. Too basic, nothing extraordinary about it, and that is something that you get in pretty much any car. So the instrument cluster is kind of disappointing. Now these are the buttons to control your infotainment. Now these are to pick up or hang up the calls. Now the steering is finished in plastic, so there's no leather wrap around it, but it's finished in very sturdy plastic, and I really like that. There's no cruise control on offer for this variant. And this is how the dashboard looks like. There's not much use of leather or soft plastic, so it's all hard plastic, but I like that grey matte finish that they have done. This also gets a twin glove box feature. This is the upper glove box and has a decent amount of space, and it is really flat, so you can keep stuff really easily. And that is the bottom part of that glove box, which also has the option to lock your glove box from your key itself so that you can secure your valuables. Now coming to the infotainment, this gets an 8-inch setup, which is very similar to that of the Fortuner also. I love that UI which Toyota uses for their infotainment. It gets proper tactical buttons for controlling your media, phone settings and all of that. The touch is also really responsive. This is how you can control the volume. So you get the rotary knobs to adjust the volume, the tracks, and even control the power of that infotainment itself. I love when they give proper buttons and the rotary knobs. I'm a big fan of this because mostly all the brands are moving towards a complete touch unit. This is how you can control or mute the infotainment itself. These buttons I'm not really a fan of, which are given on the steering wheel, because they seem to be picked up from the older Brezas, and the finish is not what you would expect from a car of this price point. This infotainment also provides support to Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and the Smart Device Link apps by Toyota to provide better interoperability between your phone and your infotainment system with features like voice recognition, etc. I love the very neat user interface which is finished in white and blue. So nothing I can complain about it really. It does not get the climate control for your air conditioning, which is a big disappointment to me. And even the knobs are not very classy and they're very ordinary to use. So that's really a problematic thing for me. It gets the eco mode button, the power mode button, the traction control on or off. That's the 12-volt socket, and that's some space to keep your stuff in. No electric wireless charger provided there, but a good enough space. It gets just one cup holder, so there's no twin cup holder treatment, and the center console is not a slider but it's finished in plastic and good decent amount of space inside as well. Manual handbrake and a manual gear knob which is finished in leather at the bottom, but the knob itself is not leather, so that's kind of a miss. It's very ordinary looking gear knob. It gets a seatbelt adjuster and adjustable headrests for the two seats. The bolstering is nice, the cushioning is really nice, and this seat is hugging, which I obviously always appreciate. It gets the fabric upholstery out and out, so there's no usage of leather altogether in the entire car actually. As for the other bits, it obviously will not get a sunroof. Come on, it's a Toyota. Now for the cabin lamps, it's a halogen treatment lamp which you can turn on or off like this. It gets the sunglass holder, which I really appreciate. The inside rearview mirror gets the day-night functionality, but it's not auto dimming. The sun visor for the driver's side does not get any mirror or lamp, but the sun visor for the co-driver side gets a mirror, but there's no lamp on offer for the mirror itself. Now, overall, I have my reservations against this very peculiar design for the dashboard and that clock which they have been using for God knows how long. Even the plastic quality on this center console and the knobs that they have used for the air conditioning feel very subpar in the quality. Same goes for the steering wheel controls as well. They could have used premium elements, better garnishes, and even if they had not given that climate control, they could have used better knobs. It seems that they have picked the same unit from a 5 6 lakh rupees car, so that's really not done. As for the list of features, now it gets a lot of features and it also misses out on a lot of them as well. Some things which I definitely would miss are a cruise control, push button start stop, NMID, climate control, and even reversing parking cameras. Having said that, it still gets a lot of important features like a very nice infotainment setup, 3 rows, which all get separate AC vents by the way, 16-inch alloy wheels which have a proper diamond cut appeal to them, steering mounted audio controls, and a ton of safety features like vehicle stability control, hill start assist, 3 airbags, 2 in the front and one for your driver knee. Even the outside rear view mirrors are auto foldable and electrically adjustable. And I can go on and on about the features that it gets, and even on and on for the features that it doesn't get. But at the end of the day, this is the most value for money variant, and you get a Toyota Innova, which is a benchmark and a milestone in automobile reliability. It's a drawing room, and you can go from Kashmir to Kanyakumari in a Toyota Innova without having any second doubts about the comfort of this car or worrying about the reliability or any possible breakdowns, because I have seen people driving these for 5 lakh kilometers and still be very happy because the Innova just doesn't give up. So I think that is the biggest USP and Toyota knows it. That is why it goes at a much higher price than its competitors, because people will still buy it. And even if I had the budget for a premium MPV, I will go for the Toyota Innova with my eyes closed. And for those people who have a touring profession, for someone who is not looking for features but just out and out comfort, and for the purpose of getting from point A to point B with not much requirement for feel good features but an absolute peace of mind that this car will get you anywhere, anytime, and at the best cost possible, since it won't cause a lot of service costs or repair cost, because again the tagline, the Toyota Innova Crysta wouldn't give up on you. And the reason I called it the most value for money is because this is the lowest variant which a retail customer can buy. And all in all, you are getting the Innova Crysta at the best cost possible with these mighty 2.7 liter petrol or 2.4 diesel engine option. So what can you exactly complain for? That is the best deal that you can get when you are buying an Innova Crysta. And that is why I called it value for money. Case closed. So that is what I wanted to cover about the Innova Crysta GX variant. Do let us know in the comments what you feel about this car and whether would you buy one if you had a budget of around 20 to 22 lakh rupees. Would you go for the Harrier or Safari because they are proper SUVs? Would you consider the base variant of the Jeep Compass? Would you look at Creta and Seltos? Or you would value a peace of mind over anything and just go for the Innova because, well, it is the Toyota Innova Crysta, period. Now, if I talk about the pricing, due to so many options available for this GX variant alone in terms of the engines, the transmissions, and even the 7-8 seat configuration options, it does come at a huge range of prices. As for the 2.7 petrol manual 7-seat configuration, it starts at around 17.9 lakhs ex showroom. And if I talk about the 8-seater 2.4 diesel automatic, which is the highest option that you can buy in this GX variant, that would cost you around 22 lakhs ex showroom. So that is the range that we are looking at. Now this specific car, which is the 2.4 diesel manual 8-seater configuration, comes at an ex showroom of exactly 20 lakhs. Obviously the insurance and the registration cost would be on top of it. So that was what I wanted to cover about the GX variant of the Innova Crysta. Don't forget to like this video if you stayed till the end and appreciated our review. Do check out our other videos as well, one of them being the ZX variant of the Innova Crysta as well, so you can have a comparison of sorts between this variant and ZX variant, which is essentially the topmost one. Subscribe to our channel for more such reviews and car related content. Keep watching Throttle Up.